Chapter 7. Treatment. Continuing our healthcare-based approach to business and marketing, let's assume that you now have an accurate diagnosis. You know exactly what is causing your symptoms, your business problems. As has been said repeatedly in this book up to this point, it is only when you have an accurate diagnosis that you can tailor the correct treatment for your business marketing. At this point, I would like to sound a word of caution, which I first heard a number of years ago, then again more recently from Tom Beale, also known as The Simplifier. Whether talking about treatments for business or marketing problems, there is no place for personal bias or personal arrogance. In other words, would you rather be right or rich? As Joel Bauer says, your ego is not your amigo. If you have an accurate diagnosis, it is important that you treat the problem that has been diagnosed, not the one you want it to have been. The treatment you use must be the best one for that problem, which may not always be the one you want to use due to personal preference, price, difficulty of implementation, etc. Treatment needs to be based on the data, not personal preference. While it can be easy to agree with this idea in theory, I know how hard it can sometimes be to implement it in real life. We all have our personal preferences, both in life and in business. Just as one person may prefer coffee over tea or cereal over fruit for breakfast, one marketer may favour email marketing over search engine optimization, while another may have a bias towards mailing marketing postcards versus making outbound phone calls. Neither is in and of itself wrong or right. It all depends on the symptoms, the diagnosis, and the treatment plan that will deliver the best results. You've probably heard this said previously. When you're a hammer, every problem is a nail. Be sure you don't approach every business problem with a hammer, meet nail mentality. Whether you are a marketer or business owner, copywriter or ad person, your personal preference must come lower down in the priority scale than doing what is best for the business. One of the challenges this brings up is that many of us don't want to admit that we don't know the answer to something. It's all too easy to try to bluff our way through. But isn't the wise, healthy thing to admit that we don't know? To admit there are even things that we don't yet know that we don't know? To seek help and advice from people who do know? This is one of the reasons why in healthcare very often you have an MDT, a multidisciplinary team. This is a group of experts in different disciplines who meet to discuss treatment options for certain patients. For example, in an MDT you may have a pain relief consultant, oncology consultant, psychologist, nurse specialist, dietitian, physiotherapist. This whole team approach helps to ensure that any treatment is carefully monitored, assessed and adjusted if needed. Throughout our son's chemotherapy treatment, it was incredibly reassuring to know that he had a team of specialists looking out for him to make sure he always received the best possible treatment and care, even through all the different side effects and problems he experienced. And there were many. Gut instinct. At one stage during our son's treatment, he developed a very serious condition called typhlitis, inflammation of the cecum at the beginning of the large intestine. His body needed to have complete gut rest, which meant that he had to have his nutrition through intravenous supply. When this was first diagnosed, I remember the oncology consultant said that they would need to discuss the best way forward within the MDT. Up to that point in his treatment, all the different problems and side effects that chemotherapy had created had been managed within well-rehearsed and well-known protocols that the oncology team were experienced in using. This was the first problem we'd known the oncology team to be a bit surprised by, and so they talked with the gastrointestinal consultants and the dietitians to ensure our son received treatment that was safe for him and that would help him to recover. We experienced firsthand the value of a multidisciplinary team in healthcare. Do you have a team of experts like this in your business? Or, if you're a one-man business, do you have an external team you can call upon if needed? A note of caution. If you do have a marketing MDT, be sure that it doesn't just become just another meeting where ideas are batted around ad infinitum with no firm action being taken directly afterwards. If you're going to go to the effort, and often expense, of talking with specialists in other fields, whether copywriting or SEO, web design or user experience, UX, the end results should be having an effective treatment plan where the first steps can be taken immediately. As Joe Vitale says, money loves speed. The world is full of businesses that treat marketing, and the business itself, as something that can be done at a leisurely pace. No deadlines, no urgency, and no accountability for implementing ideas. A healthy company is one where speed of implementation is a fundamental assumption. If you're involved in a serious road traffic accident, RTA, and are bleeding profusely from your leg as a result, you want the paramedics who attend the scene to act as soon as they have assessed the situation and have determined the problem, not an hour later after they had a coffee while discussing how they plan to stop your bleeding with their colleagues. An overly exaggerated picture? Of course, you know that's how I work. And it's also much more likely that you'll remember a ridiculous or exaggerated situation. Treatment options. In medical terms, treatments are often split into two different types, operative and non-operative. Non-operative includes treatments like physiotherapy, pain relief medication, or an injection of a corticosteroid. Many conditions are usually treated first with non-operative treatments. Operative treatments are more invasive, involving some type of surgery. Even this can be further subdivided though, as there are many different approaches to surgery. Traditional open surgery will usually require a larger cut or incision made in the skin to gain access to the relevant part of the body. Keyhole surgery involves making a few small cuts in the skin, then inserting specialist surgical tools through these gaps to carry out the surgery. This approach will often mean reduced pain, less visible scarring, and a faster recovery. At the time of writing, robotic arm-assisted surgery is becoming more common in certain types of operation. The focus of any treatment is ... Whichever treatment is used, the underlying focus is always the same: to help somebody get better. If the patient is still unwell after treatment, it would be silly to suggest that their treatment had been successful. Throughout our son's 3.5 years of treatment, his treatment was regularly monitored at hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly intervals, depending on his health at the time, and adjusted as needed. The same is true in business. If treatment for a business problem does not work, it is of no use to that business. The approach to treatment will need to be adjusted, monitored, and adjusted again. As sometimes a completely different treatment may be needed. Yet every day, tens of thousands of businesses around the world are being advised to use the wrong treatment for their problem. The failure rate of business treatments will be unacceptable in a hospital setting. Indeed, the surgeons will probably end up being struck off the medical register if their success rate was as low as that of many business consultants and consultancy firms. The whole point of healthy marketing is to get you in front of the right person who will benefit from what you are offering and who can afford to pay what you charge. To be able to sell the right thing to the right person at the right time. While hard selling has a bad reputation, this is because it has often been done in the wrong way. Pressuring somebody to buy something that they do not need and that will be of no value to them is wrong, plain and simple. It is as unconscionable as a doctor pressuring a patient to have a hip replacement when their natural hips are perfectly healthy and functioning properly. Having said that, I am a big believer in hard selling if, and only if, what you have is truly of value to that person and if it would be the right choice for them and where their business is today. If you have something that is truly valuable to a business, that will add far more value to them than what you are charging, and if it is better than anything else out there, it is your moral obligation to sell hard to them. A successful sale means they will get the best solution for their needs at a good price while avoiding buying an inferior solution from a competitor that won't provide them with anywhere near the value your solution will deliver to them. Avoid fake treatment scams. Unfortunately, you don't have to look far to find business owners or marketers with horror stories of being missold poor, ineffective, incorrect treatments. The proliferation of online advertising has helped to ratchet this up a notch, or 5. So much confusion exists around online advertising, much of it by design due to the big companies who offer these services making it difficult to know what is really working. While the scope, scale and type of these scams is ever changing, the primary way of detecting and avoiding them remains the same. Do your due diligence. If you receive an email in your inbox from an unknown sender, often using a free email address, offering to get you onto page 1 of Google, your alarm bells should be ringing loudly enough that you mark the email as spam and quickly delete it. Just as there are healthy ways of improving your position in search engine listings, there are unhealthy ways. Generally, the unhealthy ways are sold as a quick and easy fix, while the healthy approaches often have a longer-term focus. While quick and easy sounds extremely enticing, and explains why so many otherwise intelligent people continue to fall for it, if you try to shortcut a healthy marketing process, you will often pay the price further down the road. You don't want to be a business owner or marketer who spends money, time, effort, and energy on so-called marketing treatments that turn out to be merely a placebo. The time-tested principle of principles. Whichever treatment you use to improve the health of your business and your marketing, you want to make sure that it is reliable. For this reason, I always advise people to focus on principles. Principles have been tried and tested over time. They are not tactics that have been made up on the spot, or the latest must-have marketing gimmick that everyone is using. As has already been mentioned in this chapter, one of the key principles to focus on is that of delivering value to your clients. What a concept! Other principles include having more money coming into your business than you have going out, focusing on results, focusing on business outputs rather than business inputs, i.e. things you can control versus things you cannot control, clarity, frameworks versus systems. Common business treatments. The exact treatment you apply to your business marketing will depend upon the diagnosis. Listed below are some common treatment options for your consideration. Testing a different headline. Testing a different offer. Making a price change, lowering or raising. Plugging leaky holes in your business systems. Adding a bonus to a product. Adding or changing an upsell. Changing or introducing for the first time a back-end offer. Introducing a follow-up system, one for leads, one for buyers. Developing a reliable, repeatable sales process. Full website redevelopment. Creation or redesign of a comprehensive lead generation system. Developing a testimonial and or referral system. Introducing an email marketing campaign. Employing more staff to ensure a faster response to inquiries. Replacing unproductive staff with productive new hires. Changing from a sales-focused business to a marketing-focused business. Introducing a new service or product to the market. Removing a service or product from the market. Replacing a service or product with a new and superior one. Offering a payment plan. Or replacing a current one. Advertising in a different media or business category. Changing your marketing to attract a different type of client. Testing bundling services or products together. A final warning about treatments. I would be remiss if I failed to mention the potential danger of using a one-stop approach to marketing. There are many individuals and companies who offer every marketing solution in the world all under one roof. I would strongly caution against using one person or one company for all your business marketing. Now, I say this as somebody who provides marketing services to companies, so I'm writing myself out of potential business, but that's because I genuinely believe it is the correct, healthy approach. If you required knee surgery, you would probably want to have the surgery carried out by a knee specialist. You would not want a neurosurgeon to carry it out. While a neurosurgeon is undoubtedly an expert in their field, neurosurgery is very different to knee surgery. If for some reason you did see a neurosurgeon for a knee problem, they would refer you to a knee specialist colleague, knowing that they would be the best person to help you. They know where the boundaries are for their area of expertise. Choosing to work with a marketing agency can often feel like walking into a group of doctors and asking if any of them can help you with an ankle problem. Them looking at one another, and then the least busy one being volunteered to help you. Jack of all trades, master of none. There are many, many things I am not an expert in. For example, I am not, nor do I pretend to be, an expert in search engine optimization, SEO. I could probably do a pretty good job of blagging my way into working as an SEO specialist, but I would be doing a disservice to the people hiring me. For me, it would be unethical to promote myself as an expert in an area where I am most definitely not an expert. Yet there are many individuals and companies advertising themselves as SEO experts and charging often exorbitant fees for their services. Some may be okay, some may be brilliant, many will be awful. It's a similar situation within my area of expertise, copywriting. There are many people promoting themselves as copywriters whose only qualification is that they have a degree in English language. They can write nicely with perfect grammar, but can they sell a product or service using their words? Do they know how to structure a sales letter? Have they studied the past masters of direct response copywriting who relied on and used principles to get sales? For many of them, the answer to those questions will be a big no. Often, copywriting in a bigger agency will be farmed out to the newest hire, who may have little or no experience in commercial writing, and who is juggling 20 other jobs, all with equally pressing deadlines. Is that really the way you want to have the content you're paying for created? I hope not. Many years ago, I heard Dan Kennedy talk about salespeople who sold only in their memories and in other people's nightmares. Replace salespeople with marketer, copywriter, SEO specialist, etc., and you can see what you most definitely want to avoid. When considering any marketing treatment, always make sure that you have the best person for that specific treatment working on it. An expert is always paid more than a generalist for a reason, because they are an expert.